Hello there, we're back. We're back from the cartoon. The following is a collaborative effort between me and two other YouTubers. One named the Gemmy Fan. Gemmy Fan collects Gemmy products. For his collection spans over 30 years of Gemmy products. While the other YouTuber name is Thomas Carlisle. He is a Christmas historian. His collection dates back to, I don't know how far back. He has a more older collection, more vintage collection. So that would be good to see the stark contrast with him. So we're going to start the top 3 scariest Christmas items. So you're probably asking yourself, why air-blown inflatable snowmen? Why are these things? Why are these things scary? You're probably asking yourself. Well, they're scary mainly because these things can be like high. These things are big, okay, and dead doll eyes and the smile, and they come out of nowhere. I mean, these things, they 1 minute they're not there, and then the next minute, like that, they're like that. They go up so quickly. Here's a video of one being inflated. And then we'll move on to the next thing. The next thing, if you're not scared of that, then I don't know. Then I don't know what'll scare you. So here's one of them being inflated. I believe this is another snowman. The Gemmy Fan is an inflatable channel. So you can see other inflatables. The only ones I can see that I saw that were full were of the snowmen. So, that's why this is the snowman. Most complete inflation that I've seen on one of his channels. I mean, I don't know who thought of this.
Yeah, this thing is almost new.
Up, and here he comes. Yep, see. Okay, well, this one doesn't have dead doll eyes that stare at you. But he's gonna be smiling. So I'm half right.
Yeah.
Yep, and there's the arm. Yep.
Alrighty.
That thing's about 8 feet. 8 to 11 feet.
It's really cool.
That ain't terrifying. I don't know what is. The next thing is.
Hi, I'm Doug with Fur. Up on a hop-top reindeer paws. I've got little Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys.
So that isn't the stuff nightmares are made out of. I don't know what is. So basically, what you just saw. Basically, the basics of what you just saw was a tree similar to this, similar to what you were looking at. Does not have lights. Why should it? With no ornaments, obviously. Why should it have those either? And it has 2 eyes and a mouth. And they call them Douglas. Because why not? Don't know who thought of these things. Made a lot of money. Obviously made a lot of money. Because we know this because they made this for about 10 years. That is a tree you are staring at, by the way. Sick of just sitting at an inaudible camera. You are sick of listening to an unaudible camera. But yeah, they did not stop at trees. No, they did not, as you will see in this montage of nightmares. They made Wreath, and they made Garland. Now, the Garland is not as bad. I can admit to that. But what is most unsettling, they made a 4-foot model. Now, I will try to figure out how to put that in perspective, what a 4-foot model would look like. Just one moment. So what you're looking at is a 5-foot tall skeleton. About 5 feet tall. I measured it to about here. To about here, 4 feet. So, to about the bookshelf, about 3.5 feet. That's about how tall. So from scarf down, pretty much how tall the 4-foot model is. I don't know. On with the montage of nightmares. What some of you may call childhood memories.
Hi, I'm got with fur. Up on a hop, that reindeer paws. Out down good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. With lots of toys, all for the little ones' Christmas joys. Have a tremendous holiday. Hey, do you know what time it is? It's Christmas time. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Up on a hop-top, reindeer paws. Out jump good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joys. It's Christmas time. Happy New Year. It's Christmas time. Deck the hall with boughs of holly. La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la.
Last entry on my list is bubble lights. Okay, it's the most scariest Christmas item. Okay, there was more to the list, but because of time's sake, obviously, couldn't do all of it. But here they are. I have a set of Noma Nostalgia Series, Special Edition Classic Noma Decoration, Noma Bubble Lights. There are some differences on the packaging, which you can clearly see. The girl is much different on this box the one that man was holding in the intro slide. Alright, now, before I get into why these things are scary, many people might not know what these are, never seen them. Here's a set of them. Right here. I could read off the back of the box. Decided not to do that. And I found a man, Carl, who's a Christmas historian, and he knows the ins and outs of these. So, before I get into the scary details, he'll get into the historical details in this lecture I found on his channel. And so, let's cut to that.
Hello, I'm Tom Carlisle, and I'm a Christmas historian. And one of the things that I have done over the last 35 years is a lot of research on the beginning of electric Christmas lighting. And one of the things I'd like to talk about today on my tree, which I use to display all these lights, is the invention of the bubble light. And it was actually conceived by a guy in Albany, New York in 1938, Carl Otis. He came up with this idea of putting a methylene chloride tube on top of a light bulb. This little light right here is called the glow light candle. And it was invented in Chicago in about 1935. And it has a glass frosted tube on it, so it looks a little bit like a candle. Well, Otis decided, we'll just use the same base, which is right here, and then they made a top for it and put this tube in there with the bubbles in it and the methylene chloride, and they made about 68,000 of these in 1942 in order to do a market study. So they made them, and they sold them only in Illinois and New York, and they were all gone in a week. So they realized that after World War II, they would have a hit on their hands. So anyway, after the war, they came up with this design, which is the one which this became a hit, the biggest hit in American history in Christmas lighting. And then after that came out, it was such a big hit, and all the other companies that made Christmas lights wanted to try and make one similar, but to get out of the patent, this company right here is called Paramount. And these bubbles are going slower, and because they have oil in there. And that cost 3 times more to make that tube, but at least they were in the bubble light business. And that lasted only for a couple of years until they got the patent thrown out in 1948. So this one was made in 1947. It made them for a year with the tall tubes. And then this one back here is a new one with oil in it, and it's only about a year old, and we plan to make these someday. Anyway, let me show you a set of the original ones. They're down here. This is a set that was made in 1946, after the war. See that okay? Anyway, this is the original set. They made a few of them in 1945, but almost all of them were made starting after 46. I'm guessing this set is an early 1946. It was probably made in April or something like that. But anyway, they made 10 million of these light bulbs in 1946, 20 million in 47, and then they made 40 million in 48, 49, and 50. So it was the biggest hit in American history in the way of Christmas lighting. And so we plan on redoing these, and of course we'll talk about them in this movie. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about the lighting in this Christmas movie that we're making, you can go to our new website, and that is www.xmasmovie.org. And anyway, you'll find out a lot more information about the lights and the songs and everything pertaining to Christmas, and why we're making this, which is mainly to preserve the history of the holiday, which everybody seems to be trying to diminish lately. They're trying to take the word Christmas out of a lot of things. So we want to bring it back. Anyway, if you'll take a look at this, I think you will really enjoy it, and you can see what we're working on doing in the future. Anyway, thank you very much.
Boy, are they pretty. All lit up like that. Look at them. So, a couple of them. Or the one on the end is going. The one in the middle's really going. So what makes these so scary? Probably asking yourself. Because they are dangerous. Okay, they contain a toxic chemical called methylene chloride. On the back of the box. Can't really read that, can you? Well, the back of the box, it reads, handle bubble lights with care. Liquid can stain if tube is damaged. Bubble lights should not be used in a confined area. Vent holes should not be covered by other tree decorations, which could inhibit flow of air. Harmful vapors. If vial breaks, open window, do not breathe fumes, and ventilate the room. Caution contains vial contains methylene chloride. If exposed to liquid, contact your local poison control hotline. So that is the risks to these. So let's just turn these off after reading that, shouldn't we? Let's just turn these off. After reading that, turn them off. After reading that, I'm going to put up a slide of other dangers of methylene chloride exposure. This can prolonged methylene chloride exposure can cause CNS failures, central nervous system failure. Okay, this is not good to be exposed to. Let's just go with that. So something that is potentially deadly, I find the most scariest thing of all. Okay, the most scariest thing of all. So just turn. It chuckles. Let's just turn them back down. Right? So, I mean, they're very pretty to look at. They're not. They look. Whereas most things are, right? So I thank the collaborators, Thomas Carlisle, the Christmas historian, and the Gemmy Fan, both collectors of Christmas, old and new, or modern and vintage, however you wanna put it. So subscribe to their channels. And for Christmas movie by Carlisle, will be in the break. More information about that will be in the break. So we'll see you at the other end of the break, and I'll see you at the end of the